You are lying in the dark. The clock reads 2:47 a.m. Your body is exhausted, but your mind is pacing back and forth across the same 10 seconds of a conversation from this afternoon, rewording your reply for the 40th time. You are not solving anything. The loop was never built to stop on its own. Here are 6 things psychology has figured out about people who think too much, including which kind of overthinking actually helps and how to switch into it. Sign 1. The 2 engines. Most people treat overthinking as one thing. It is 2. In 2003, psychologist Wendy Trainer split rumination into 2 components: brooding and reflection. Reflection is turning inward to actually work a problem out. Uncomfortable, but it leads somewhere. Brooding is different. Brooding is passively comparing your life to some standard you have not met, asking, "Why is this happening to me?" with no intention of answering. From the inside, they feel almost identical. But reflection tends to resolve, and brooding tends to deepen. Most people who think too much are not reflecting. They are brooding and calling it thinking. Sign 2. The idle loop. Your brain has a network that switches on the moment you stop focusing on the outside world. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network. It runs when you are doing nothing, lying in bed, in the shower, waiting in line. Brain imaging studies have found that in people prone to rumination, this network becomes over-connected. The regions that handle self-reference and emotion start dominating the regions that handle calm, flexible thought. In plain terms, when an overthinker goes idle, the machinery does not rest. It turns inward and tightens. This is why doing nothing does not relax them. Stillness is when the loop gets loudest. Sign 3. The problem-solving mirage. Here is the cruelest part. Overthinking feels productive. It feels like you are working on the problem. The late psychologist Susan Nolan Hoeksema spent her career studying this, and her finding was blunt. Rumination does not just fail to solve problems, it actively impairs your ability to solve them. It clouds judgment, kills the motivation to act, and, strangely, erodes your support system. The more someone ruminates out loud, the more the people around them pull away. So the overthinker ends up with worse solutions and fewer allies, all while feeling like the most engaged person in the room. Sign 4. The decision drain. The average adult makes around 35,000 decisions a day, and every one draws from the same limited tank. Psychologist Roy Baumeister showed that the act of deciding depletes the exact resource you use for self-control. Overthinkers run that tank dry by lunchtime. And it compounds. In the famous jam study by Sheena Iyengar, shoppers offered 24 jams were 10 times less likely to actually buy than shoppers offered 6. More options, less action. The overthinker generates their own 24 jams for every choice: what to say, what to wear, what it all meant, and then stands frozen, exhausted, in front of a decision most people make without noticing. Sign 5. The physical tax. The thought does not stay in the head. Studies link chronic rumination to elevated cortisol, raised blood pressure, disrupted sleep, and markers of inflammation in the body. Angry rumination, in particular, has been tied to spikes in blood pressure. The brain cannot tell the difference between a threat happening now and a threat being replayed for the 100th time, so the body mounts the same stress response either way. Overthinkers are not just tired of thinking, they are physically worn down by it, carrying a bill the mind keeps running up while the body quietly pays. Sign 6. The exit. Here is what the research actually points to, and it is not just stop thinking. That never works. The first move is to name which engine you are in, reflection or brooding. If you are circling a question with no answer, that is brooding, and the goal is not to think harder. It is to interrupt. The most supported interrupt is shifting attention outward, to the body, to the senses, to one small action. Mindfulness works in studies precisely because it loosens that overconnected default mode network. The loop does not respond to logic. It responds to a change of channel. Doing one concrete thing breaks it faster than any amount of figuring it out. If you recognized yourself in this, the takeaway is not that something is wrong with you. The same mind that loops at 2 in the morning is usually a mind that cares deeply and sees too much. It was never the thinking that was the problem. It was the kind left running with no off switch. Leave a comment with the sign that hit hardest. I read every one. And next week, the psychology of people who feel everything too intensely. The ones who seem fine while quietly carrying the whole room. If that is you, you will want to see it.